Hi everyone. I just got new equipment. I have been so excited to do this. Not sure if you can see her, but Mango is here to support today. I have been daydreaming about this, especially with a mic in my hand, for a while now, and I'm super excited. I'm on a high energy level today. It's been a really good weekend. I had my sister come visit and stay with me for the first time. She's been up here, but not staying with me, and my cousin came with her, and we had a really great time. It was so much fun. And today was also one of my friend's birthdays. And although I live in Chicago and I'm not a Cubs fan, I did watch the game, and the St. Louis game was on right next to it. But yeah, sadly, St. Louis did not win, and the Cubs did. So, yay. Happy birthday, Alex. Great for you. Little birthday present. But yeah, today, I think I kind of want my topic to just kind of be about excitement and bouncing off of people and the people that you're around and the people that you love. I have taken a lot of time to kind of reflect on the people I have in my life and why I have them in my life, why I keep them around and why they keep me around. I think most people relate to this, but when you're growing up, you're going to find people, and you even become friends with people that you kind of look back on and you're like, what? Why were we even friends? Were we even really friends? Was it just because of like the close proximity? Like what exactly like about it, kind of like drew us together as friends? And I think that topic is always so interesting, and I've really been reflecting now kind of deeply on it because I adore the people that I'm surrounded by, and I love the life that I've built with them. And I genuinely feel so excited about being around these people. I've never felt more extroverted in my life than with the close girlfriends I have here. So, shout out to all my besties. You know who you are. And if you're like, is that me? Then it's also probably you. Um, but yeah, I get a lot of excitement about them, and I feel like we've talked about it a few times, me and those girls, and even like me and my siblings, me and my sister, me and my mom. We've talked about these types of relationships in your life and why they're important to you. And genuinely, I just want to speak from my own personal experience. I feel like I have been so excited about these because we're so funny, but there's like a reason that humans lean on humor. And genuinely, like, just being able to be so funny with the friends that I have, and even like the jokes that me and my siblings bounce around, they're not the same as the jokes I bounce around with a different sibling or even my dad or anyone else. And I just think that like sharing a sense of humor in a certain way really connects you with the people that you're talking with and joking with. And humor and jokes have been such a connecting piece with me and my friends in my current life right now. Um, I've just gotten really excited about it. Um, I have really deep, meaningful relationships with these girls, but 95% of the time, we're making a joke off of a joke that was a joke. And there's just so many layers to it that it genuinely becomes complex. And when I sit back and I think, like, why was this so great today? Or why was this phone conversation so appealing to me? Why has this never felt like this before? I just, I get really, I try to get really reflective on it and introspective. And I just, I'm I've just felt very excited lately. about these relationships that I have in my life, and just feeling really grateful. This year, I knew that I wanted to go into this year knowing that I had a lot of life changes, and I wanted a great foundation, not only for myself solely here, but also with the people that I surround myself by and what they're doing. Um, I know that a lot of people have always heard the phrase of, you are the five closest people to you. And I've always remembered that. And I think when I reflect on it, the closest 10 people to me are the coolest people ever. There are obviously, me personally being a media person, there are celebrities and writers and artists and musicians and people that died centuries ago that I obviously look up to and I idolize. But meeting someone on a day-to-day basis, getting to feel them, feel their energy, feel how they react to you, which I think is an important part of this, because I know all about parasocial relationships. I do. And I think that the way that they make you feel when they're around you, that's not something that you're getting. Of course, like whenever you're watching a TikTok and, about Billie Eilish or something. And I don't know, being surrounded by my closest 5 people, 10 people, I'm very proud. And I think the proudness also kind of comes from a place of there being a point in my life when I did look around and I was like, what is going on? What is going on? Who are these people? Why am I surrounding myself with them? And not to say like those are bad people at all. No, I'm not trying to disrespect anyone at all. I think that you do kind of sit back and you're like, these people don't share the same goals as me. These people don't want the same lifestyle that I do. They're not relating to me in a lot of ways that feel really important to me. And to bring up kind of an example of that, I remember being in college. I went to college in a small town, and I thought I knew that I wanted to go out of state, and I didn't end up doing that. And I thought that I was going to end up at like a huge school out of state and meet all these great people that had come from far and wide. And when that kind of just didn't exactly trickle in to be the reality, and I kind of ended up in, not the opposite, but I ended up in a small town surrounded by a lot of people that had lived their entire lives there. And of course, there were people that were from the neighboring big cities, including myself. But I thought that it was also kind of a good place to start. And I do reflect back on it, and I think I am glad that I was surrounded in that environment and those people, because I don't know that if I would have gone directly to a huge city with all these people, knowing what I did go through in college, like I ended up becoming like really anxious, and I was really homesick a lot of the time, and I actually did end up leaning on my family a lot more than I thought I would, and I think that also developed into the deep rooted relationships that I have with my family members now. And of course, like a lot of teenagers go through this. I didn't exactly know that I was going to have those deep rooted, truly open conversations and relationships that I now have with my family and have had for years now. I didn't know exactly that I would have that when I was moving away. And so going to a small town, I'm really glad that I was able to pull back and kind of lean on them. And if I would have gone to a bigger city, I'm not saying that I wouldn't have been ready, but I am happy that I was able to go and kind of be a part of this community in this small town where I didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't feel like I was right for it. I didn't feel like I was surrounded by like-minded people at all. And that was so confusing, because how can you have engineering majors and education majors and psychology majors and music majors and construction management majors and say that you can't find your place? All of these different people and all of these different majors and minors and all these different classes, you're always meeting someone every single semester. How are you not connecting with these people? And I think it also might be a reflection of who I was at the time and where I was at the time in my life. And when I was, meeting these people, it might have been different if they met me at 27 or if they met me at 34. I don't know who I'm going to look like then and how we would have intercepted each other at where they were in their life too. So I am really thankful that I really did feel kind of lost. And being a music major myself, I knew that I wouldn't necessarily connect with everyone as deeply in the same way about music, because of course a lot of music majors, they're music education majors, so they maybe did band all the way through school, or orchestra, marching band, and they're here and they want to become a high school band director. They want to become a middle school, elementary school, and they're playing the clarinet and the flute and the saxophone. And I was part of band myself. I was part of marching band. I didn't play an instrument, but I was a part of these things in my life. But when I was drawn to music, it was a different aspect of it. And so I knew that I wasn't going to connect with the entire music community there in the same way. And also I knew that I hadn't been playing an instrument. I played the flute in middle school, and then college came around and I was like, yeah, I can read music, but that's about it. And so I knew that I was going to have to take these big steps. And when I was taking these big steps, I thought that I would fall into place beside people. I thought I would kind of join the line, and I didn't. I really didn't. And I really struggled through college making relationships with anyone. And I even look back now, and the friends that I still talk to from college, it's interesting because it's like the relationship that we had then when we saw each other daily is very different than now when I live, depending on where they are, 9, 7, 5 hours away. It's really is interesting to me to look back on how I made those relationships and why I made them. And if I do still have these continuing relationships with people, why they've stayed together. Both of us, me and that other person, have chosen to continue our relationship, and just kind of why and how and what unites us. And I just think it's so interesting. I do. And I don't want to exactly use any examples of my friends out on the internet or anything. I want to try to keep them as anonymous as possible. But I think that, I want to give myself grace for the person that I was in college and the things that I went through. And because everyone finds their place, even if it's the wrong place, again and again and again and again, which is how mine really, really, really felt. In middle school, you kind of try to find your footing, and then you don't. And then you go into high school and you try a sport, or you try like a little club or something. You try to volunteer with the teacher, become a TA, something, anything. And, you kind of try to find your footing. And when you don't, for 4.5 years, like I did, which really, it felt like in college, like I really just kept taking these steps and just kept missing. Like truly, it felt like coach kept putting me in, and I was like, why? Like, I am not getting any further. Why do you keep believing in me to do these things? And I wanted it so bad. And I think that that's also an interesting part of this, is that I did want it so bad. I wanted close friendships, like you see in the movie. Like, I wanted to move away, and I wanted to not like start a new life, but like I wanted to start my adult life and create these lasting things, these people that will be coming to my wedding and my baby showers and my kids' birthday parties. Like I thought that like this was when I was going to meet them. And I thought that it was, I know that everything is not in the movies, but I thought it was like summer orientation day. Everyone's moving in, and immediately you just fall in love with all of these different people, and you find like your 5 people, and then you're together until the end of time. And it's like, even when you do find people, now they live across the country. I'm included. I moved very far away, and I don't see any of these people more than maybe once a year, if. But yeah, just looking back on college and the people I surrounded myself with constantly, I didn't align with in so many ways, and I'll never have the other side of the other perspective, the other kind of side of the coin. But it's so interesting, and I don't necessarily like care what they kind of thought on like their side of our relationship or anything, but it's none of my business either. But it just is so interesting. Like, you just think, like, did they know that I didn't fit? Did they know that I wasn't supposed to be there? Like, it really felt like true imposter syndrome, but not in a good way. Not in a, oh my gosh, can't even believe that I'm here. I've always been dreaming about this. Why me? Why me? Why me? It was almost the opposite. I really felt like almost the opposite. But to think about meeting people at 24, I started making my close friends here. I think I was 24 versus 18. Whew. Whew. A lot happened in those 6 years, a lot of very formative experiences. And I am thankful for all of the very, very tough growing pains that I had, because I really do feel like I'm coming out the other side finally. And I know I'm 27, and everyone is like, oh, I'm just a girl, I'm just a teenage girl. But like, for real, I'm just a teenage girl. And I feel like I'm kind of like just finally setting my toes into the adulthood sand, and in a good, positive way, in a good way of I've experienced a lot, and I'm so excited for the future, and I'm not necessarily as scared. I am really looking forward to finding more people and expanding on my own life. My closest girlfriends that I have here, and their friends that are also now my friends, and people that have been in my life forever, including my siblings, like getting to see them all kind of interlink and mesh together, especially because of you, and you kind of being like this common link between them, I think is a very satisfying feeling. At least it might be just my ultra extrovertedness, but I'm constantly thinking about connection. I think that the artist that I am is always thinking about people and their stories and their perspective, and flipping it and changing it and looking in. And I get so excited thinking about how much I love my people. And I'm so proud of my people. And I'm so proud that I'm proud of my people, if that makes sense. I'm so happy to have this sense of like being able to kind of sit back in a way and watch myself do the things that I get to do in the free, open way that I get to do it now. And also, this is another, I think, huge part of it, is that also being that space for these people too, because there's so much true trust and loyalty and openness, and I want this to come across correctly, indifference, because there is an indifference with us as well. I truly think it's the most healthy, uplifting relationships I've had in my life. And I'm so excited to see it all move forward. I really am. And it's so funny because I feel alone in a lot of ways. And maybe that's another topic for another day for sure. But I feel alone in a lot of ways, and getting to learn when to be alone and to be good with it and to sit with it. And especially being an extrovert now, I don't know if I would have said that I was necessarily an extrovert as a child, but being one now, being able to sit alone and feel good and know how to be alone and when to do it, those are all skills. I truly think that they're skills because it's not something that I learned quickly. So I'm really excited to be in this place and kind of be able to to truly just love so fully and openly and genuinely. I want this kind of to come across the correct way as well, but I'm like, it's about me, and I love that it's about me. Like, I feel like I have been so tunnel vision on other people. Being a very anxious and sensitive child, I get so excited that there's comes a fearlessness thinking about me in these situations and being able to be that space because they make me feel this way and I want to make them feel that way, and being able to kind of be your own individual person and know when that indifference kind of slips in and slips out, and kind of being able to weave these parts of yourselves into each other and around each other. Okay, I am like absolutely just like speaking in complete nonsense, but that is just kind of like how it like feels in my brain, and it just kind of ruminates in there. And I just today and this weekend, it's been such a big feeling of mine is that I don't think that I could have achieved these things, small as they feel, small as they look, I should say. They feel grand and in a very proud way. And of course, every relationship is going to be flawed. I like I said, I like being alone, and there are a lot of things in this world that I am completely alone, and I've never found people that relate to me in certain ways and like certain things the way that I like them. What's your weird? What's your quirk? Like, where do you get off? And I love that. Like, what? I'm 27, and I said I was 24 when I started making these girlfriends. How extraordinary. That's 3 years. I'm almost 28. It's been 3 years, 4 years in total. This is like our fourth year, about to wrap up. Like, I'm so excited for the future. How many people am I going to meet? How many people are going to be able to mirror a part of myself back onto me? I just find that thrilling, and I'm so excited for the future, and I want to continue to make other people feel the way that these relationships, these experiences have made me feel. Being able to feel the power that these have, it makes me want to create more spaces. And I think that being in such capable like fields of this, it kind of allows you, like I said, has that skill. You can kind of use that skill to create these spaces a little bit more for others, even if it doesn't even involve you. Being the oldest daughter, truly, eldest daughter syndrome. I want to like create this, and I want to be able to like pass down the wisdom. I want to be able to absolutely press this into my younger sibling's face and be like, if you ever had a doubt about this and that and this and that, just wait. You can do this. You can be proud of yourself, and this is how I did it. And as much as I sometimes despise being the oldest, there are moments when it reflects in my personality and in the things that I get excited for. And this is one of them. And yes, I really wanted to just I was sitting in these thoughts, and it's a Sunday afternoon, and I'm so excited to get into this nice Chicago weather. Finally, And that, of course, comes with its own big emotions, which I'm sure are at play here. It was in the 70s today. So I am absolutely levitating. Yeah, I want to share my thoughts, and I love that the human existence has created this space where I can talk to nothing. I can talk to inanimate objects into inanimate objects that will take it and power it into another inanimate object to then put it out into the world for others to be able to hear and see and judge and think and resonate. I love it. I get so excited, and I'll talk more about this later on, but I'm so excited for this year, and I'm so excited for the future. And creating is a ginormous part of that. We all have voices in different ways, and we all have really big, important things to do and to show. And those, of course, are all different. And this is one of mine, and I'm so excited to be on this journey. I'm so excited. I really am. I'm very proud, and I hope that everyone else can find some pride uh, within themselves today and tomorrow and next week. I love the whole wide world, and it loves you too. Should I do the choice? No, just kidding. But okay. Goodbye.